Namaste. I see the divine in you as you see the divine in me. Namaste. And isn't this always the most beautiful way to learn to greet each other? As I see the divine in you and you see the divine in me, we learn to understand that we are learning to walk a path of higher love consciousness. Never before we knew what higher love consciousness was, until you become activated with a Great CAEAYARON, and then you begin to understand a little glimpse of it, truly, what higher love consciousness is. Why is it a little glimpse when you're activated of seeing what higher love consciousness is? Because we've become so separated away from higher love consciousness that we need to be guided constantly to a way of higher love consciousness, to remember what it was like when we learned to work as one galactic collective love consciousness with higher star beings of love. In Lemuria, we understood galactic collective love consciousness, and we were working towards a time when we could truly be part of the galactic love consciousness again. But when the darkness came in and took all of that away, and it took our memories of the higher star dimensions also, and they gave us memories of our previous universes, and those universes we fell into very greatly because they gave those memories back. So it's very interesting learning to walk a path of higher love consciousness and what that means. And it's beautiful to see the activated star sacred world healers growing with their greater love and greater might, and helping them to understand what greater gifts is with a Great CAEAYARON, and that's beautiful. And for those who are coming to the Divine Pineal Gland activations in a couple of weeks' time, here in November 2018, they will be so blessed forevermore, for eternally they will be truly set free, and they will feel it growing within them. What does freedom feel like growing within us? It feels truly beautiful, and we know that the love is growing within us. And so the more that the love is growing within us, the more that we awaken, and the more that we awaken to all that's going around us, the more that we need to forgive, so that we can bring in more of our own love in. So when we, as activated, we bring in love, we bring in our own love from our higher beings, and that's beautiful. So I'm going to bring it out and read out the forgiveness statement for a moment. CAEAYARON, I bring you now into my spaces of love and healing. I ask for your presence and for your love to be with me at this time. I forgive all that has caused my pain to happen. I release it now. I allow the angels to take it away for me. I bring in the love and the peace, and I desire to understand more joy and self-love. I surround myself with the highest loving divine beings who are here to take care of me. I let go of all fear within me. I release it. I trust that all things are perfect as they are. I'm ready to love myself and all of life more. Thank you, CAEAYARON. Thank you, great divine love. And thank you very much for watching. Namaste. Greetings, dear brothers and sisters, dear sons and daughters in the light. I am Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great. Happy is the one who desires to drink from the eternal fountains of love. Happy is the one who desires to follow the higher path of life and of love. Happy is the one who keeps searching within for the great divine truth to be shown to them. Are you one that is constantly asking divine, please, divine, sovereign Emmanuel the Great, show me the highest path of love. Show me how to walk in truth and divine truth. Show me where the greatest treasures are in all of the kingdom. Show me, Lord Emmanuel the Great, what the kingdom is. The wise ones keep asking these questions, for they know within their heart that all is there to be found when one desires the higher truth and the higher love. But what does it take to find that truth and to find that higher love? 2,000 years ago, my designated channel Jesus was upon your plane, constantly helping the people to understand the higher path of love. Once he saw an argument taking place between two of his followers, and this is what he stated: "Brothers, why are you arguing about yourselves? Do you not see that it's important to stay in the forgiveness? Why are you arguing? What is so important that you must argue about?" They both turned to Jesus. "Jesus," one of them stated, "this man said that I am not evolving as much as he is." And the other one said, "That's not true. He is saying that I'm beneath him. He is saying that he is more evolved than I am." And Jesus looked at the two of them. Who do you think the Great Father, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great is truly looking for to come and join in the great realms? Perhaps it's those children over there who are not arguing about who is more evolved than the other. Or perhaps over there are the women who are looking after their families and animals. They are simply carrying on with their work. They do not consider themselves to be higher than you. Do you consider them to be less evolved than you are? Why do you think it's so important to the Great Father Emmanuel about your own feelings, about your own evolution? Do you not see that it is the humble ones who truly go and join the higher realms? Do you not truly see what the Father is looking for? And the two men looked at Jesus. "But Jesus, we are doing everything that your Great Father Emmanuel is speaking to us about. We are talking to the people in the villages. We are even writing your words down, word by word, so that when we speak with your words. We go and feed many of the poor ones, like you asked us to. And we even make sure that all the orphans are looked after too, just like you suggested. Is that not enough for the Great Father Emmanuel? Are we not more evolved then, perhaps, than the children who are playing, or the woman who cannot even speak?" Jesus looked at them puzzled. "Why do you say that you are more evolved than the children or the woman? Because they have a voice too. They may not have a voice in the preaching houses, but when the Great Father Emmanuel invites them to speak, he invites both the men and the women. Although many of the women stay quiet because it's your way, You say that the woman doesn't have a say, but the great Father Emmanuel doesn't say that. The great Father Emmanuel sees woman and men as equal. There is no who is higher than who. Many women will go into the great kingdom and say how wonderful it is to eternally glorify the great Father Emmanuel and always be in the divine will. Many women will serve greater than the men can, because many women live within their heart, whereas many men will say, I live in my heart, great Father Emmanuel, but they are not. At this time you're arguing because you're in your head. When you're in your heart, you can't argue. The women, they carry on doing their beautiful tasks. They work from their heart, always feeling what their family needs, always feeling what the animals need. You work from your head. You start logically explaining to yourself and each other what evolution is and who is going to be greater in the positions of the great kingdom. The great Father will choose the woman more than you because they work with their heart. You keep arguing and the great Father Emmanuel says, learn to forgive. Learn to be forgiving of each other and learn to accept yourself and learn to accept each other. Both men, they looked quietly at Jesus and they walked away with their heads down, having to think about that very much. It is true too in your world that many people are comparing each other, who's more evolved than the other. And yet it is not about the thought of the great revolution that's within them. It is about what I, as the great sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, see. And what I see is much different than what you see. Many of the people believe that evolution is about learning about the great ways of man and knowing all the words or receiving all the documents and certificates or stating how much more they are than the average. But that is not true evolution. Evolution is about learning to understand the higher love consciousness, learning to understand what it takes to be in the greater realms of love, learning to be in the heart and always to stay in the great forgiveness. And now I, as the great sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, have opened the gates up for the higher evolution to come so that you can join me in my realms for those who desire to. This is also what Jesus prophesied to the people 2,000 years ago. Look, there will be a time when the great Father Emmanuel will be calling those who can be seated in the great heavens. Are you going to be one of those? This is why the arguments began. Who was more evolved than another? But in those days it was not the true calling. It is now. The true calling is now. And at this time I am looking for the ones who desire to come to the great realms, to the great kingdom. And those must be activated with the Great CAEAYARON, who is the great aligner, who can only do the work with my designated channel. 2,000 years ago she was Jesus. Now she has returned as SUZANNA Maria Emmanuel. And I will work with no other, and neither will the Great CAEAYARON. I state that she is more evolved than all of humans, for she is the one who's designated to bring you to the great mountain of light, and no one else can. She is the Word, the messenger, And I, as the great sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, state, she has been faithful all her lifetimes. No one can claim to be more evolved than my designated channel, SUZANNA Maria Emmanuel. And how does she work in your world? Does she go out and state to others, like many in your world do? Does she state, I am more evolved than you? No, she doesn't. She carries on being in her heart every day. She seeks divine direction. What can I do to help more people heal? Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great and Great CAEAYARON, Great Aligner and Great Divine Love Judge. And here in a few weeks' time, again, a beautiful activation is taking place. And throughout this time, Susanna's been working very hard on the Great Mountain of Healing and Light program to bring people into the mountain of the light, to help them to guide upwards. And yet many upon your earth will claim that they are more evolved than my designated channel, SUZANNA Maria Emmanuel. But I state, as the great divine Lord, that is not true. She knows more knowledge within her than any of the people upon your plane. She has more courage than any of the people upon your plane. Her words are more wisdom than any of the people upon your plane. She is the designated messenger. When will the people see the one gateway upwards? When will the people recognize the one road upwards? When will the people see that this is the time of the gathering, so that the people can be chosen to go up? For those who become activated with the great mountain of light and healing, the Great CAEAYARON, before 2020, they will certainly be blessed. And they can evolve upwards into the greatest realms of love if they demonstrate love within themselves at this time. For them, their talents will become so great in the years coming, for they will feel the love coming deep within them, and they will demonstrate it with the love they show to the field of mankind, by helping them and guiding them back to the love, so that they can flow together as one love consciousness, all learning together to rise into a beautiful field of love, field of flows, field of greatness, so that they can truly say, look, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, we are here celebrating the love. We are in peace. We recognize the divine truth and the divine gateway, and we will work hard towards the greater realms of love that you promised. For everyone who comes in to be activated, and yes, it will continue until the year 2032 upon your plane. For those who become activated and demonstrate the greater love, they will go to the greater realms of love. Those who do not demonstrate divine love can never reach the greater realms. However, those who become activated before 2020 can reach the very great stages of the great love. They will have the greatest privileges when they show divine love towards my being, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, towards the Great Aligner, the Great CAEAYARON, and also towards the one gateway, the greatest messenger in all the realms of the universe. The new universe is coming. the blessings will be so great, and you will hear also the messages from my being Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great being spoken through the one designated messenger, who will always be the one designated messenger, and I will have no other, for she is proven to be the most faithful in all the universes. In all universes, the word was tested, and I have tested many. And many have stated, "Look, Lord, look at what I've done." And yet I will state to them, you did it for yourself. You never did it for the love. You never did it to help many others. All you were is you were concerned about your own evolution taking place. Do you not see the lesson here? That those who come into the greater realms are the ones who are concerned about others, always constantly seeking the kingdom first. What is it that I can do, Lord, to help others heal? What is it that I can do, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, to help so many people come into the love? How can I put divine will first? Not my own will. For the people on your planet claim to be doing the will of divine, and yet I will state you're doing the will of yourself, for you desire to serve yourself. Where am I in your life as the great Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great? The many churches claim they are doing the will of God. Yet I state, which God is that? Is that the Yahweh God? The God of judgment? And the answer would be yes. It is certainly not my divine will. And Jesus knew that too. Jesus stated, never give worship to my being. And the people enjoyed bowing down to Jesus whenever they saw him. Jesus stated, get up. You will not bow to me. I'm only a human. I may be the messenger of Divine Father, but even Divine Father does not desire worship. Never worship. Never place idols within your home, for idols do not mean anything to the Great Father. When you pray, pray from your heart, not from the words you hear, not from the words you read, for the Father is looking for those who pray from the heart. He's searching for the lovers of the heart. Always remember that. The Great Father teaches you to be in love and not to spit out words like frogs and snails and slugs and poison to others. Let your words always be of love when you speak about the Great Father Emmanuel. Let no one worship me as Jesus. Remember, I am only a messenger. I'm not the Messiah, and I will never be the Messiah. And at all times coming, I never desire to be worshipped, as the Great Father Emmanuel does not desire your worship either. He desires your love. He desires you to love him with his heart. Those will be the ones who will find the true path. The ones who desire to be in the heart and always follow divine will. So let this be a great lesson for you too, dear friends. Learn to ask, what is it I can do, great Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, to bring healing to others, as I do to myself also? For those ones who keep asking, they will find the higher path, and they will learn the higher path. Never argue about who is more evolved than another, because in I as the great sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great will state, no one is more evolved than my designated channel. So why should you argue that point, if there's only one greatly evolved being upon your plane in the eyes of my divine being, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great? Yet you will never hear her state that. But I as a great sovereign being I can state that. And yet she will state, I do not know anything, great Father Emmanuel. Teach me to do your will. Greetings, I am Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great.
Greetings.